After the unpredictable torrid year we had in 2020, the idea of making New Year's resolutions for 2021 might seem a tad overwhelming. Even if you're the type of person who is put off by New Year resolutions, experts say that in 2021, writing out one or two specific, small and attainable goals can help develop confidence and a sense of pride in improving one's well-being. Coach Lanre Olushola will be speaking on the complete guide to achieving our 2021 New Year goals for those who set goals. Welcome to the morning show, Lanre.
Oh, thank you very much. It's really an honor and a privilege to be here. Thank you for having me again.
Thank you for being here. What's your thinking on New Year resolution? Is it just a fad that people engage in, or is it something that one or people should take seriously?
You know, only 8% of people year in, year out achieve all their goals. 92% of people fail, which means that, you know, it's not just about New Year resolutions, because guess what? People just keep doing it over and over and over and over again, and keep failing over and over and over again, and keep carrying it, you know, over every year. So it's not about setting New Year resolutions. Everything responds to principles. You know that success has a formula. There is a process. There's a methodology. There's a science to success. And so it is great to set goals because that is the highest of all human needs. Self-actualization. It gives you fulfillment, satisfaction, prosperity, peace, profitability, and everything that you want. However, you have to plan it. You have to strategize. You have to follow the principles. You have to follow, you know, the science of it. So it's not just about setting resolutions, especially after 2020, what we have all gone through. You know, a lot of us don't realize the impact psychologically, spiritually, emotionally, and physically on each and every one of us. So we must take a step back and do it differently. Albert Einstein says that the definition of insanity is to keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. 2020 was a very traumatic year. And so for 2021, we must do things completely different. And so, you know, there are 20 steps that people must take if they want to get it right from 2021 and beyond.
Go ahead with the 20 steps.
Yeah, let me get my pen and paper. Let's listen. Please continue. Let's hear them. Let's hear a few of them, rather.
All right. So the first one is you have to revisit 2020. And the first thing that you have to do about 2020 is you have to thank it. You have to be grateful and thankful for 2020 because, you know, three fundamental things changed. Number one, you changed. You are not the same person as you were before 2020. Secondly, you know, your world changed. And the third thing is your world's view changed. Your perception about life, about work, about life, about health, about everything changed. So revisit 2020 and ask yourself, what did 2020 do for you? If you're still alive, it means that your purpose is still relevant. Yeah. And so you must ask yourself, you know, what is it that I learned in 2020? If you have gone through all of that pain, if you have gone through all of that struggle, if you have gone through all of that anxiety, right, you have to learn from it. If not, you have wasted 2020. So what is it that 2020 came to teach you? What is it that you learned in 2020? Do you know that failure, difficulties, trials, and tribulations, they are your stepping stone to promotion? You don't move from primary 1 to primary 2 without having a test and an exam. You don't move from Form 1 to Form 2 without a test and an exam. You don't move from your first year in university to your second year in university without a test and exam. So for you to get promoted into 2021, you have to have passed the exam and the test of 2020. So what was the test for you? What was the exam for you? And what did you score? What did 2020 come to teach you? The second thing that you want to do is you must reconnect with your spirituality. Look, if there's nothing else that we learned in 2020, you must know that there is a God, right? And you must know that your life is not in your hands. The exclusive right of life and death is in God's hands. So you must reconnect with your spirituality. You must reconnect with yourself, your spirit, your soul, your body, your environment, and your relationships. You must reconnect with the Almighty God, the one that gives life and breath. and you must develop a personal relationship with him. And then you must reconnect with other people. Now, it's not everyone in your environment that is supposed to be in your environment. There are people that are supposed to be around you. Now, it is not only for positivity, because Judas needed to be around Jesus Christ. And Judas helped Jesus Christ fulfill his purpose.
Exactly.
So there's some people that will bring difficulty, problems, challenges into your life. You've got to be able to be discerning spiritually, to know the right kinds of people that you want to let into your inner caucus, your middle caucus, and into your outer caucus. The third thing that you want to do is you have to renew your hope, your faith, and your love, what I call grace, the three universal spiritual values. You have to live by those three universal values: hope, faith, and love. And you have to give hope to everyone around you. You have to live a life of faith, absolute faith, and you have to live a life of love. Owe no one anything but love. Number 4, you have to get a revelation. Now, we have moved away from the dispensation of information. We have moved away from the dispensation of education. We have moved into an era of revelation. And you can only catch revelation, you can't learn it. Revelation is caught, it is not taught. Revelation is caught in a place of prayer and meditation. Now, what is the revelation that will make your life fruitful and worth living in the next decade? You have to catch that revelation. Number 5 is you have to review and you have to visualize your life in the 12 holistic dimensions. You have to live your life from a bird's eye perspective. A lot of people focus only on work. There is more to life than just work. A lot of us have come to terms with that. Are you having fun? Are you resting? Are you taking care of your health and well-being? What are you doing with your relationships, social relationships? What are you doing with your intimate relationships? What are you doing with your career? Why are you here on earth? What kind of energy do you carry? What kind of aura do you carry? And what kind of people do you associate with? What level of spirituality are you operating from? What is your financial situation? Are you living a life that is successful and attainable? Are you living a content, satisfied, fulfilled life? You've got to look at your life holistically. There are 12 critical dimensions of your life. Number 6 is you have to rewrite your life vision. Everybody must live a life with a vision, a mission, and a purpose. And you must write your plan. You must create it. He who fails to plan today surely has planned to fail tomorrow. Vision is key to direction. And he who has no vision will live somebody else's vision. Number 7, you have to do a research. And you have to research why you are here. You have to research who you are. You have to research who you are not. You have to research what you are. You have to research what you're not. Now, success responds to principles. There is a formula to success. And there are 50 principles that in the last 10 years of my life I've researched. If you go to my social media, if you go to my website, you would find the material on the 50 principles of success. Success is not by accident. I studied the likes of Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, Aliko Dangote, Tony Elumelu. I studied their lives for 10 years, and I was able to extract 50 common success principles from them. Now, it is important that you go get those 50 principles. It is important that you understand the formula of life. The next thing that you need to research and discover is the 12 universal laws of the universe. You have to know them. You have to live them. The law of divine oneness, the law of vibration, the law of action, the law of correspondence, the law of cause and effect, what we call karma, the law of compensation, the law of attraction, the law of perpetual transmutation of energy. We are all energy, and everything around us is energy. And what is the energy that you are receiving? What is the energy that you are putting out? What is the energy that you are creating? The law of relativity, the law of polarity, the law of rhythm, and the law of gender. It is very, very important that you understand those universal laws. It is important that you understand the 50 fundamental principles of success and you live them on a daily basis. The 8th thing that you want to do in 2021 is you have to take time out to reflect and to meditate. Which of those principles do you need to put in place now? For what and how? Which of those laws are you struggling with and you need to develop? Which of them are you natural with? Which of them will help aid you, move you faster towards your goal in 2021? The ninth thing you want to do is you want to reorganize your life. You want to reprogram your thoughts, your perceptions, your beliefs, your emotions, your decisions, and your behaviors based on all of those principles, the 50 principles, based on all of the formula of success, and based on all the 12 universal laws of the universe. Number 10, you have to rebuild yourself mentally, emotionally, physically, energetically. You have to build strength. You have to build personal power. You have to build stamina.
Coach Lanre, can I ask to what end that would happen? Because, I mean, what you've said is quite profound, but when somebody is coming off the back of 2020, and I admit that you've already acknowledged that 2020 was, a traumatic year for many people, but if you've adopted a lot of those principles in your life already, and you feel as though you were mentally prepared, you were emotionally prepared to have a good year, 2020 obviously wasn't that. And the point I'm trying to make is that a lot of things are out of our control but affect us anyway. So when you have that knowledge in the back of your mind, surely it is difficult to look at goal setting and achievement making in 2021 the same way.
Yes, so that is why it is important for you to, reconnect with your own mandate. It is important for you to recreate, reinvent, and rebuild yourself, your life, your products, and your services, and refocus only on what you have control over now. Now, I've shared another 3 principles, right? I talked about rebuilding mentally, emotionally, physically, but 11 is you have to reconnect with your mandate. Why are you here? A lot of people are distracted because of what other people are doing. They are distracted by what other people are doing. There is a solution that you were born to be. There is a problem that you were created to solve. There's a mandate for your life. You have to reconnect with that mandate. You have to reactivate that mandate. What is your identity? What isn't your identity? What is your purpose? And that is what you need to recreate. That is what you need to reinvent. That is what you need to rebuild. You've got to rebrand yourself, and you've got to refocus only on the things that you have control over. And what are the things that you have control over? You are only in control of the things that you are here to do. Now, look, I said to you that you have to ask yourself, who are you? But more importantly, you have to also ask yourself, who are you not? You also have to ask, yes.
Who are you? We will keep you on pause. We'll go for a break. When we come back, you will continue from where you left off. Is that okay?
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Good, fine. We'll be back in a bit. All right, glad to have you back. You're still watching The Morning Show, and we still have live coach Lanre Olushola. Lanre, glad to know you're still there. Well, you will continue with your thoughts before we went on break, but you can add this to it. In the event that you don't achieve the goals that you've set out to achieve, what should happen next? Should you abandon the goal? What happens next?
You go to the 14th step, which is to restart all over again. You have to restart, and you see, the thing about people is that people are looking for sound bites. So they're waiting for the end of the month. They're waiting for the end of the year or the beginning of another year, right? So you can start all over again at any point in time, and that's one of the things that people need to take into cognizance. If you fall off the bike, if you fall off the track, get back on track, get back on the bicycle and start all over again. But before you start all over again, go back to the beginning. And like I said, let's do a reassessment of what we did in the past, what we learned from our failures. Do you know that failure teaches you more things than success teaches you?
That's true.
So it is so important, right, that you do not discount the value of that failure. Failure is your best friend. Failure is simply feedback, right? It is telling you that based on the goal that you set, right, and based on the options that you chose, And based on the actions that you took, it will not get you to where you want to go. It is intelligence. So you have to go back and revisit that intelligence. And guess what? You start all over again, which is the 14th principle and step that I'm teaching today. When you restart, then you reposition yourself, you reintroduce yourself, to, the people that have the problems that you are a solution to. And this is very, very important, right? Especially for people that are business people and people that are within a career, right? You have to understand that this world only gives value back to people that add value to the world. So what value are you adding? A lot of people don't know what problems they are here to solve. Now, for people that like you, that inform us, that educate us, that provide us with news, right? You are educating us. You are informing us. You are giving us information that we can utilize as intelligence to plan, to make the right decisions for our lives. And that is important. People cannot live life by ignorance. The Bible says that my own people are destroyed because of lack of knowledge. So, Ndi, I want to celebrate you. Femi, I want to celebrate you simply because of the fact that, guess what? You are solving problems of ignorance. And the more you know that, the more passionate, the more driven that you will be, irrespective of the challenges that you will face on a daily basis. And people must celebrate people that add value to their lives, people that solve their problems. And you see, one of the reasons why we're backward in Africa is we're only thinking money. The more problems you solve, the more money that will chase you.
Exactly.
The bigger the problems you solve, the bigger the value of the kinds of money that chase you, right? So find the people that have a problem that you are a solution to. And you've got to reintroduce yourself to them. You've got to reposition yourself to them. And the next thing is you have to re-engage with them. But most importantly, you have to build rapport with them. And rapport is about building trust. Now, you can only build trust when you have the right brand. And you can only have the right brand when your promise of value is consistently achieved. Now, if you do not identify the problem that you are a solution to and create a plan of how to provide service or to create a product to solve those problems, you will not be able to earn the trust of the people that need you. And those people will not be able to reciprocate by giving you value, which we call money. People pay for value. People pay for their problems to be solved. The reason why people take Panadol is not simply because Panadol is a nice brand. You take Panadol because it's a painkiller. The reason why people buy cars is because it eases their transportation problems. Now, there's some.
Coach Lamre, can you hear us? It seems as though we can't hear him. While we work on re-establishing that connection, he has been, again, another guest who's been dropping lots of nuggets. Oh, we have him back.
He's back.
We have him back. Please continue.
Hello?
Yeah, go
yes.
on.
It is therefore important that people find the right people that they are sent to. Frustration comes when you are trying to solve the problems that you are not here to solve. When you are trying to solve problems that you are not equipped to solve. When you're trying to solve problems that you are not developed to solve. Find the problem, develop yourself in solving those problems, passionately solve those problems, but make sure that you are constantly, adding value to humanity. Now, based on all of those things that I've talked about, you now need to constantly be readjusting. They say that the man with the most flexibility in thinking and behavior is the one that consistently succeeds. The fact that I did it yesterday and it worked does not mean that it will work tomorrow.
Tradition kills.
Tradition kills. You have to constantly be dynamic and flexible and be able to readjust. Now, at the end of each day, you've got to revisit your day and be grateful for everything that happened to you. Gratitude is key. Now, you have to keep a gratitude journal every day. Identify 12 things minimum that you are grateful for that day. They say that that which you're grateful about, you attract more of it, you create more of it. That which you despise, murmur, and complain about, you also attract and create more of it. Now, you've got to create a combination community, virtual and pseudo-physical. Look, everybody is called to a set of people. Create a community of the people that you are sent to, and daily focus on helping them. Daily focus on adding value to them.
All right.
Daily focus on solving their problems.
Let's take it to the next level. Femi wants to come in here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I mean, I know you talked about identifying the lessons that you learned in 2020. And I do keep on looking back towards that year because we're still very early on. It's only the second day
of 2021.
Only the second day of 2021. But, you talked about learning, identifying lessons that you learned. And I think personally, one thing I did learn is that things can happen with far less than we think we need. Whether or not it's, if you're in the business of traveling to meet new people, where you have people saying, I have to fly from Lagos to London for a meeting. Now we know that you can sit down and have that very same meeting in the comfort of your own home. Things can happen, life can continue, life can grow without you spending as much as you needed to do, without you thinking that you need to, service these old or outdated, prerequisites. So when you look forward to this year, this 2020, I'm not saying that people shouldn't be ambitious, because I personally am very ambitious, but I wonder if coming off of the back of a year like 2020, people just want to rest this year and people don't want to do too much, because I don't think we have taken into account how traumatic this year has been for many people. So when we're looking at a year like 2021, which actually isn't going to be much different than 2020, because if you were negatively affected by the pandemic, that's still a reality for all of us here. I just want us to have more serious examples of how we can achieve in this year, taking into account that 2020 was a year like no other. And I'm not sure that many people listening to the conversation and listening to the nuggets that you've dropped so far will get that type of assurance. Do you agree?
Femi, you're right that people need to pace themselves, and people need to recognize, especially, from the fact that, that I presented, you have to readjust, okay? So you gave the example, you don't have to travel physically. You have to understand and use technology to augment. That is part of readjustment. That is part of being flexible and dynamic. You have to revisit your reality, and you have to change things within your reality. However, look, it is important for you to recognize that when you pause, when you stop, right, the whole world is still moving.
Yep.
And movement is key to life. In fact, movement is life. Progress is life.
That's it.
So it can be what the Japanese call kaizen, small, incremental, but consistent movement. But you cannot afford to stop. Because, look, even though you are waiting, even though you are reflecting, there's a scripture that says that those that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall walk and not faint. They shall run and not be weary. Now, even though you are waiting, you are mounting up with wings as eagles. You are running, you're walking. There is movement, because life in itself is movement, and movement is life. And so you cannot afford to stop or pause. You have to keep moving, because every day you live, you are dying. Every breath you take, you are dying. You are taking one breath less. You are living one day less. So the big question is, what are you dying for? One of my mentors, Steve Jobs, every day before he steps out, he stands in front of a mirror and asks himself, that which I'm going out to do today, if today was my last day on earth, would I be going out to do it? And if the answer is no, right, he will go back and replan and re-strategize for the day. If it is yes, he steps out with boldness, courage, and hope and faith, and he does it. And he lives his life on a daily basis, based on the fact that I am going out there and all that I can achieve is what I can achieve within the time frame that I have today. And then each person must also shut down each day, because when you shut down each day, but you shut down with gratitude, and when you go back to bed, that's when you reconsolidate. That's when
All
you
right.
rejuvenate, and
All
that's
right.
when you restart your life all
All
over
right,
again.
talking about movement, Larry. Somebody said God is 2/3 of it is go, G-O, and then
Sorry?
A-K-W-A. Yeah. We'll just leave it there. Thank you so much for your contribution on the morning show. Larry Olushula there, life coach.